Memory plays a crucial role in our social interactions. Yet many of us experience the frustrating phenomenon of forgetting names shortly after meeting someone new. This common occurrence can leave us feeling embarrassed or awkward as we struggle to recall a name that we just heard moments ago. The reasons behind this lapse in memory are often rooted in psychological mechanisms. When we meet someone, our brains are bombarded with a multitude of stimuli, from the person's appearance to the context of the meeting. This overload can hinder our ability to encode the name into our long-term memory, especially if we are preoccupied with other thoughts or anxious about the interaction itself. Additionally, the act of focusing on the person's face or the conversation can distract us from fully processing their name, leading to a fleeting impression that quickly fades. To delve deeper into this phenomenon, we can turn to the theories of Carl Jung, who explored the complexities of memory and the unconscious mind. Jung posited that our memories are not just simple recordings of events, but are influenced by deeper psychological processes, including archetypes and the collective unconscious. This perspective invites us to consider how our unconscious biases and experiences shape our ability to remember names and form connections with others. By examining Jung's theories, we can gain insights into the intricate relationship between memory, identity, and social interactions, ultimately enhancing our understanding of why we forget names and how we can improve our memory in social contexts. This exploration not only sheds light on a common social challenge, but also opens the door to a broader discussion about the nature of memory itself and its impact on our relationships. Forgetting someone's name can trigger an immediate emotional response that often resembles frantic panic. In that fleeting moment, when the name slips from our memory, a wave of anxiety washes over us, leaving us grappling with a sense of urgency to recover the lost information. This feeling can be particularly intense in social settings where we are expected to engage and connect with others. The internal struggle that ensues is palpable. On one hand, we strive to maintain our composure, projecting confidence and ease, while on the other, we are acutely aware of the growing discomfort that accompanies our forgetfulness. This tension can lead to a flurry of thoughts racing through our minds, such as worries about how the other person perceives us or concerns about our social skills. It's important to recognize that this experience is universal and not a reflection of personal inadequacy. Many people, regardless of their social prowess or intelligence, encounter this same challenge. The pressure to remember names can be overwhelming, especially in large gatherings or networking events where numerous introductions occur in quick succession. Understanding that forgetting a name is a common occurrence can help alleviate some of the anxiety associated with it. It serves as a reminder that we are all human, navigating the complexities of social interactions together. Embracing this shared experience can foster a sense of connection and empathy among individuals, allowing us to approach such situations with a lighter heart. Ultimately, acknowledging that forgetting names is a normal part of social life can empower us to respond with grace and humor, transforming a moment of panic into an opportunity for genuine connection. The unconscious mind plays a significant role in memory retention and the process of forgetting, particularly when it comes to the cognitive load we experience during social interactions. Cognitive load refers to the amount of mental effort being used in the working memory, and when this load becomes too heavy, our ability to retain information such as names can diminish. Attention deficits can exacerbate this issue. If our focus is divided or if we are preoccupied with other thoughts, the likelihood of encoding a name into our long-term memory decreases significantly. Carl Jung's perspective on memory offers a fascinating lens through which to understand this phenomenon. He viewed memory as a gatekeeper, suggesting that the unconscious mind filters and prioritizes information based on its relevance and significance to our personal experiences and archetypes. In this context, names may be inadvertently rejected by the unconscious mind if they do not resonate with our existing mental frameworks or if they are overshadowed by more pressing concerns. For instance, if we meet someone in a high-stress environment or while multitasking, our unconscious may deem the name less important, leading to its omission from our memory. This filtering process can create a disconnect between our conscious intentions to remember and the unconscious decisions that govern what we actually retain. Consequently, the act of forgetting a name is not merely a failure of memory, but rather a complex interplay between cognitive load, attention, and the unconscious mind's selective processes. By understanding this dynamic, we can cultivate greater awareness of our mental states during social interactions, potentially enhancing our ability to remember names and fostering deeper connections with others. The concept of persona, as defined by Carl Jung, refers to the mask we wear in social situations, shaping how we present ourselves to the world. This persona is crafted from societal expectations, personal experiences, and the roles we assume in various contexts. While it serves a functional purpose in helping us navigate social interactions, it can also create barriers to genuine connection and effective communication. When we are preoccupied with maintaining our persona, we may find ourselves less engaged in the moment, leading to hindered listening and diminished memory retention. The focus shifts from truly understanding the other person to projecting an image that aligns with our social identity, which can result in superficial interactions. This dynamic creates a conflict between social survival and the ability to store meaningful data in our memory. On one hand, our persona is essential for fitting into social norms and ensuring acceptance within a group. On the other, it can obstruct our capacity to absorb and remember important details, such as names or personal stories. The cognitive resources required to uphold our persona can detract from our ability to genuinely connect with others, as we may prioritize our self-presentation over active listening. This internal struggle can lead to a cycle where the more we focus on our persona, the less we engage with the information being shared, ultimately impacting our memory. Recognizing this conflict allows us to reflect on our social behaviors and consider how we can lower our defenses, fostering authentic interactions that enhance our memory retention. By embracing vulnerability and authenticity, we can break free from the constraints of our persona, paving the way for deeper connections and improved memory in our social encounters. Intuition plays a pivotal role in shaping our perception of others, particularly during initial introductions. When we meet someone new, our unconscious mind engages in a rapid scanning process, assessing various cues such as body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. This instinctive evaluation occurs almost instantaneously, allowing us to form initial impressions based on subtle signals that may not be consciously recognized. This unconscious scanning can significantly influence how we perceive the individual, often leading us to make quick judgments about their character or intentions. Emotional resonance further enhances this process, as our emotional responses to others can greatly impact memory retention. When we encounter someone whose presence evokes a strong emotional reaction, whether positive or negative, our brains are more likely to encode their name and associated details into memory. This emotional charge acts as a powerful catalyst, making the information more memorable and easier to recall later. Conversely, when interactions lack emotional significance, names and faces may fade from memory more easily. For instance, if we meet someone in a context that feels mundane or unremarkable, we may struggle to remember their name, as the absence of emotional resonance diminishes our engagement with the encounter. This distinction highlights the importance of emotional connections in our social interactions. Names that are tied to meaningful experiences or feelings are far more likely to stick with us. Ultimately, understanding how intuition and emotional resonance affect our perception of others can help us navigate social situations more effectively, fostering deeper connections and enhancing our ability to remember names and details that matter. By being attuned to our intuitive responses and the emotions at play, we can enrich our interactions and strengthen our memory retention in social contexts. The concept of the shadow, as articulated by Jung, refers to the hidden aspects of our personality that we often suppress or deny. These elements can include our fears, insecurities, and traits we deem undesirable. The shadow is not inherently negative. Rather, it encompasses all the parts of ourselves that we may not fully acknowledge. This unconscious aspect of our psyche can significantly influence our memory, particularly in social interactions. When we meet new people, our shadow may inadvertently affect how we perceive and remember them. One way this occurs is through projection, a psychological defense mechanism where we attribute our own unwanted traits or feelings onto others. For instance, if we harbor insecurities about our social skills, we might project those feelings onto someone we meet, interpreting their behavior through the lens of our own fears. This can lead to a disconnect in our interactions, making it difficult to remember names or details about the person. As our focus shifts from them to our internal struggles, the act of forgetting names can thus be seen as a reflection of our shadow at work, where our unconscious biases and defenses overshadow genuine engagement. Additionally, other psychological defense mechanisms, such as repression or denial, can further complicate our memory processes. When we encounter individuals who trigger uncomfortable feelings or remind us of aspects of ourselves we wish to ignore, our minds may unconsciously block out their names or identities as a means of self-protection. Understanding the influence of the shadow on memory can illuminate the complexities of our social interactions, encouraging us to confront and integrate these hidden aspects of ourselves. By doing so, we can enhance our ability to connect with others and improve our memory retention in social contexts. Emotional complexes are intricate psychological structures formed from past experiences, particularly those laden with strong emotions. A complex can be defined as a cluster of thoughts, feelings, and memories that are interconnected and often arise in response to specific triggers. These complexes hold significant emotional weight, influencing our perceptions and behaviors in various situations. For instance, someone who has experienced rejection in the past may develop a complex around social interactions, leading to heightened anxiety when meeting new people. This emotional significance can manifest in forgetfulness, particularly when it comes to remembering names or details about individuals encountered in social settings. When faced with a new introduction, the individual may become overwhelmed by their emotional response, causing them to disengage from the moment and subsequently forget the person's name. Past experiences can profoundly shape our memory processes, as they create emotional associations that can either enhance or hinder our ability to recall information. For example, if someone has a positive memory associated with a particular name, they are more likely to remember it. Conversely, if a name triggers a negative memory or feeling, the individual may unconsciously block it out, leading to forgetfulness. This dynamic highlights the protective nature of the psyche in social interactions. Our minds often prioritize emotional safety, steering us away from situations or information that may evoke discomfort or pain. This self-protective mechanism can lead to lapses in memory, as the psyche attempts to shield us from potential emotional distress. Understanding how emotional complexes influence forgetfulness can provide valuable insights into our social behaviors, encouraging us to explore and address unresolved feelings that may be impacting our ability to connect with others and remember important details. By acknowledging these emotional undercurrents, we can work towards fostering healthier interactions and improving our memory retention in social contexts. The evolution of names and their significance in society reflects a complex interplay between modern naming conventions and ancient recognition practices. Historically, names served not only as identifiers but also as symbols of identity, lineage, and social status. In many ancient cultures, names were deeply intertwined with personal attributes, familial ties, and even spiritual beliefs, often carrying profound meanings that resonated within the community. As societies have evolved, however, naming conventions have become more standardized and, at times, superficial, often prioritizing trends or cultural influences over the deeper significance that names once held. In contemporary contexts, our brains tend to prioritize emotional connections over mere labels. When we meet someone, the emotional resonance of the interaction often outweighs the importance of their name. This phenomenon can lead to forgetfulness, as our minds focus on the feelings and impressions generated during the encounter rather than the specific details, such as the person's name. This instinctive prioritization reflects a fundamental aspect of human nature. Our primal instincts drive us to seek connection and understanding, often at the expense of the more superficial elements of social interaction. This dynamic creates a tension between social expectations and our innate instincts. In modern society, there is an expectation to remember names and titles, which can feel burdensome, especially in large gatherings or networking events. Yet, our primal instincts urge us to engage authentically, fostering emotional connections that may not always align with the rigid structures of contemporary naming conventions. This conflict highlights the need for balance. While names serve important social functions, it is the emotional connections forged in interactions that ultimately enrich our relationships. By recognizing this tension, we can navigate social situations with greater awareness, allowing for deeper connections that transcend the limitations of names alone. Impact of ego on memory retention is a nuanced topic that reveals how our self-perception can influence our ability to remember important details, particularly in social interactions. Ego inflation, characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance or superiority, can lead to forgetfulness in several ways. When individuals are overly focused on their own status or image, they may become less attentive to the people around them. This self-centered perspective can hinder genuine engagement, making it difficult to absorb and retain information, such as names or personal stories shared during conversations. As a result, the inflated ego acts as a barrier to meaningful connections, ultimately impairing memory retention. Genuine connection plays a crucial role in enhancing memory retention. When we engage authentically with others, our emotional investment in the interaction increases, making it more likely that we will remember the details shared. Emotional resonance strengthens the neural pathways associated with those memories, allowing them to be encoded more effectively. Conversely, when ego takes precedence, the focus shifts away from the other person and their experiences, diminishing the emotional connection that fosters memory retention to enhance interpersonal interactions and improve memory. It is essential to lower the ego. By adopting a more humble and open approach, we can create an environment conducive to authentic engagement. This shift allows us to prioritize listening and understanding over self-promotion, fostering deeper connections that enhance our ability to remember names and details. Lowering the ego not only enriches our social experiences, but also cultivates a sense of empathy and connection with others. Ultimately, recognizing the influence of ego on memory retention encourages us to strive for more meaningful interactions, paving the way for improved recall and stronger relationships in our social lives. Remembering names can be a challenge, but there are practical tips that can significantly enhance memory retention and improve our social interactions. One effective strategy is to visualize names as symbols rather than mere labels. When you meet someone new, try to create a mental image that connects their name to a distinctive feature or characteristic. For example, if you meet someone named Rose, you might visualize a rose flower. This technique not only makes the name more memorable, but also adds a layer of meaning that can help reinforce your recall. Later, engaging actively with others is another powerful technique for improving memory retention. When introduced to someone, make a conscious effort to repeat their name during the conversation. For instance, you might say, "It's great to meet you, Sarah," or ask a question that incorporates their name, such as, "How did you get into your field, Sarah?" This repetition reinforces the name in your memory while also demonstrating genuine interest in the person. Moreover, being present and curious in conversations is crucial for enhancing memory. When you focus on the individual in front of you, rather than being distracted by your thoughts or surroundings, you create a more meaningful connection. Practice active listening by maintaining eye contact, nodding, and responding thoughtfully to what the other person is saying. This attentiveness not only helps you remember their name, but also fosters a deeper relationship. Lastly, cultivate a mindset of curiosity. Approach each interaction with the intention to learn something new about the person, which can make the experience more engaging and memorable. By visualizing names, actively engaging in conversations, and being present and curious, you can significantly enhance your ability to remember names and strengthen your social connections. In this discussion, we explored the psychological insights into the common experience of forgetting names, shedding light on the various factors that contribute to this phenomenon. We examined how cognitive load, emotional complexes, and the influence of the ego can all play significant roles in our ability to remember names during social interactions. Additionally, we delved into the concept of the shadow and how our unconscious mind can affect memory retention, as well as the importance of genuine connections in enhancing our recall abilities to combat forgetfulness. We provided practical strategies that viewers can easily incorporate into their daily lives, visualizing names as symbols. Furthermore, being present and curious in interactions fosters deeper connections, making it easier to remember important details about the people we meet. As you reflect on these insights, we encourage you to apply these strategies in your own social encounters. By practicing these techniques, you can enhance your memory retention and build more meaningful relationships with those around you. Remember, the ability to remember names is not just about memory. It's about connection and engagement. If you found this discussion valuable, we invite you to subscribe to our channel for more content exploring the intricacies of memory and social interactions. Don't forget to like and share this video with friends and family who may also benefit from these insights. Together, let's continue to explore the fascinating world of memory and enhance our interpersonal skills for richer, more fulfilling connections. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.